Imagine a world where peace is an illusion. Right now, as you sit comfortably, you are a fortress under a relentless 24/7 siege. To you, this is just a quiet afternoon. But to trillions of bacteria, viruses, and fungi, you are the most valuable piece of real estate in the galaxy. You are a biological gold mine, and they want in. But you aren't defenseless. Inside you is a military machine so complex, so brutal, and so efficient that it makes any modern army look like a group of toddlers playing in a sandbox. We're talking about a multi-layered defense network of scouts, heavy infantry, suicide squads, and intelligence officers. Most of the time, this war stays silent. You don't feel the skirmishes. You don't see the millions of casualties. But today, the perimeter has been breached. Today, the enemy has found a way in. It happens in a fraction of a second. You're working in the backyard, or maybe just walking down the street, and you trip. A rusty nail or a jagged piece of metal tears through your skin. To you, it's a minor ouch. To your immune system, it's a code red. The first line of defense, your skin, has been compromised. It's like a hole being blown in a castle wall, and waiting right there on that nail, and in the air, are the invaders, bacteria. They don't waste time. They flood into the wound, landing in a warm, nutrient-rich environment they've only dreamed of. This is their promised land. They immediately start to feed on your resources and begin the simplest, most dangerous math in biology: exponential growth. Every 20 minutes, their numbers double. 1 becomes 2, 2 become 4. Within hours, they are a colony of millions. At first, they play it smart. They fly under the radar, staying quiet as they build their strength. But once they reach a critical mass, they change. They start to release toxins, damaging the surrounding tissue and literally reshaping your body's environment to suit their needs. The invasion has officially begun, but the alarm has already been tripped. Deep within your tissues, huge, tentacled beasts are prowling. These are the macrophages, the heavy infantry of your immune system. They are the permanent guards of your body's borders, and they are hungry. As soon as they detect the chemical trail of the invaders, they move in. A macrophage doesn't use a gun or a sword. It simply swallows the enemy alive. It wraps its long arms around a bacterium, pulls it into its belly, and dissolves it with powerful enzymes. One macrophage can execute up to 100 invaders before it's even full. But this isn't just a local brawl. The macrophages realize they're outnumbered. They need to escalate. As they fight, they release messenger proteins, chemical flares that scream for backup. They order your blood vessels to open the floodgates. Water and plasma rush to the site, making it easier for reinforcements to travel. To you, this is just a red, painful swelling. To the battle, it's the logistics of war. And then the reinforcements arrive, the neutrophils. If macrophages are the disciplined infantry, neutrophils are the berserkers. They live in your bloodstream, patrolling like rapid response units. When they get the signal, they tear through the vessel walls and enter the fray with one goal: total annihilation. Neutrophils fight so violently that they often kill your own healthy cells in the process. They spit out chemicals that act like biological bleach. They are so lethal, so toxic, that they are hard-coded to commit suicide after 5 days just to prevent them from accidentally destroying you from the inside out. But even this brutal counterattack might not be enough. If the bacteria keep multiplying, the body has to stop fighting with its muscles and start fighting with its brain. The front line is a mess. The macrophages are exhausted, and the neutrophils are literally exploding just to hold the line. But while they fight, a more sophisticated player is at work: the dendritic cell. Think of the dendritic cell as the intelligence officer of this war. It's not there to kill thousands. It's there to gather data. It roams the battlefield, picking up pieces of the dead invaders and wearing them on its skin like a grisly trophy. But this isn't for show. The dendritic cell needs to make a life or death decision. Who exactly is attacking us? Is it a virus hiding inside cells, or a bacterial invasion in the open? The answer will determine the fate of the entire body. Having collected enough samples, the dendritic cell leaves the battlefield. It enters the lymphatic system, a network of superhighways, and travels to the nearest lymph node. This is the command center. Inside this hub, billions of specialized soldiers, T cells and B cells, are waiting. They aren't general soldiers, they are specialists. One T cell might be a master at killing the flu, while its neighbor is an expert at fighting a specific type of soil bacteria. The dendritic cell begins a frantic search. It's looking for the one. It bumps into thousands of T cells presenting its samples until, click, a match is found. When the right T helper cell recognizes the enemy sample, the war protocol is activated. This single cell begins to clone itself at an impossible speed. Within a day, one specialist becomes an army of thousands. Some of these T cells become memory cells. They stay behind in the command center, archiving the enemy's signature. If this specific invader ever dares to show its face again, the war will be over before you even feel a sneeze. You are now effectively immune. But the rest of the T cells have work to do. They head to the center of the lymph node to wake up the B cells. If T cells are the generals, B cells are the weapons factories. When a B cell and a T cell with the same target meet, the factory doors fly open. The B cell begins to pump out millions of tiny Y-shaped proteins, antibodies. These are the smart missiles of your biology. These B cells work so hard, producing thousands of antibodies every single second, that they literally work themselves to death. They sacrifice their lives to flood your system with ammunition. The T helper cells have to fly around the factory floor, shouting chemical encouragements, keeping the B cells alive just a few minutes longer to produce one more batch. The shipment is ready. Millions of antibodies are dumped into the bloodstream, heading straight for the breach. Back at the wound, the situation is dire. The bacteria have almost won. But then the cavalry arrives. The blood vessels at the site are suddenly flooded with antibodies. These proteins don't just hit the bacteria, they disable them. They clip onto the invaders' shells, paralyzing them, clumping them together so they can't move or reproduce. They act like biological handcuffs, but they also serve as a targeting system. To a macrophage, a bacterium covered in antibodies looks like a 5-star meal. The macrophages exhausted moments ago suddenly go into a feeding frenzy. They can now find and destroy the invaders with surgical precision. The tide turns. The invasion is crushed. The remaining bacteria are hunted down and erased. As the smoke clears, the cleanup begins. The inflammatory signals stop. Without the constant call to war, the millions of remaining immune cells, the ones that didn't die in battle, commit a final act of service. They trigger their own self-destruction. It sounds grim, but it's necessary. Keeping such a massive army active would drain your resources and risk damaging your own body. They disappear, leaving behind only the memory cells, the veterans who will guard your borders for decades to come. Your skin heals. The swelling goes down. You forget you were ever in danger. But deep inside, a silent army is still watching. They've seen what's out there. They know how to fight it. And they are ready for the next time the world tries to take what's yours. Because in the invisible war, there are no truces, only survival.